Three words for my first month here: exciting, sunny, and a whirlwind. The sun has not stopped shining since I've been here. It's amazing. It did actually rain on the weekend, but that was the first time in 6 weeks or something. It's been really exciting to change, do something different, meet new people, be in a new environment, and hear about what's going on. Really exciting things, but a whirlwind of information that I'm slowly navigating through. I've been pretty surprised by how lively the campus has been. There's been lots of students around. You know, people are obviously still working from home. Students are doing jobs and studying and doing all sorts of bits and pieces, but the campus has been amazingly lively. There's lots of cafes, there's lots of activities going on. There's always something to see and do, which has been fantastic. I think it's been great that UNSW acknowledges the areas where it needs to put a little bit more effort to improve the situation for both students and staff. That's been really great. And also understanding that investment needs to be made in those areas. It's really, especially in this pretty difficult time, it's been great to see. So some of those areas include our IT systems. Everybody likes to complain about that, which is fine. But I have seen real activity happening there, and a lot of investment is going into that space, which is fantastic. Similarly, with some areas of the built environment, student accommodation, for example. So not shying away from the challenges that we've got and really embracing what needs to happen, but most critically being prepared to invest in those areas, which is fantastic to see. It's a great question. I've never actually thought of that before, but in thinking of it, I thought, well, what does astrophysics, or what has astrophysics trained me to do? How do I think as an astrophysicist? So it teaches you how to think really big. Obviously, the universe is a big complex place, and you need to understand the big picture. But understanding the detail and how things are actually done, the nitty-gritty, is critically important. So just like a university, and indeed humans, there's that big picture and the small detail that interconnect with each other in a really critical and important way. So in my previous role, but also in coming to a new organisation, I want to know first, what's the big picture? What does the whole landscape look like? And then kind of do a bit of a deep dive into all of the components of that. And also then you think about, like in astrophysics, the interdependencies and how these things interact with each other. So that kind of way of thinking, I suppose, I have found very helpful in a leadership role, and looking after teaching, how we all teach, how we interconnect, what students actually want, as well as the broader student experience. The other side, of course, is data. Data is absolutely critical, and the way that we present data in astronomy is really important, and same with a big organisation. What data are we actually showing? What does the data tell us, and what data do I want to show to tell a particular story about the student experience at a particular moment in time? When I first arrived at uni, one of the most exciting things was access to a computer. I actually hadn't used a computer at high school, so that was just fantastic. And as my years at university evolved, so did computers. So getting SGIs with fancy graphics cards and things like that, those things were very exciting. So if I think of that in a current context, it's about having access to the latest and greatest and providing that to our students. Obviously, lifelong friendships that you forged and kept have been, incredibly influential and really important and special about university, which makes you also think again in the current context of how do we actually connect students up, and how do we offer a range of experiences for them to find their people. And obviously, you remember that fantastic teacher that you had in whichever topic it was, in whatever subject, that's really resonates with you and reminds you, or reminds me, and when I was a teacher, what was it that teacher did that was so interesting and really caught my attention, and how can I now emulate that? And I suppose the other thing that university taught me, if I think about it, at the end of all of those studies, it taught me how to learn, how to find information, and how to get what I wanted and be self-sufficient and have that kind of agency to go and find what I need. You know, thinking about the student today, I don't think any of those needs have really changed that much. You know, students want to have a great teacher, they want to find friends for life when they go to uni, and they want the support or the activities or the engagement that they want when they want it. So how is it that we provide just-in-time support, engagement activities throughout the student life cycle remains a challenge, but absolutely an opportunity for us, knowing that that will have a huge impact on our students. There's another new DVC here, and he told me he's been visiting all of the faculties and seeing all of the research labs and all their research spaces. Like, I haven't seen any of that yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing that at some stage. Across the, you know, my division, I've met some of the leaders, but haven't actually really met the teams, or very much as yet. It'd be great to actually meet with more of the team members within education and student experience to really understand what it is that they're doing. I've got a kind of high-level picture of all of the activities that are going on, which is a lot, and I suppose I'd like to, you know, learn a lot more about what it is that everybody's doing. If I pick one thing, I'll be bombarded by that and leave something else out, so maybe I'll just say the division more broadly. Favourite snacks probably depend on the time of day. I have lots of willpower at the start of the day, which completely evaporates by the end of the day. So sweet and sugary comes on hard at the end of the day, and sort of saltier or fruits come on earlier in the day. Favourite recent novel was Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. Fantastic book, really enjoyed that. Favourite pastimes would depend on the time of the day or the day of the week. I do like to do quite a bit of sort of sporty stuff, get the adrenaline going, and also puts me in a very positive mood. So I like to go for a run if I can. Very hilly where I live in Coogee, so that's getting a little bit tricky. Kayaking is a much sort of calmer but active sport. That just tranquility on the water is fantastic. But I also do you know, much calmer things like reading books is really good, listening to music. I do a bit of drawing as well, and I do take a photo a day, which is actually a way to get out of my head and look at the environment around me. But also it's quite amazing to then collect this you know, diary of something that you did every day for 4 years. It's quite a nice thing to keep. I have to admit I've absolutely fallen in love with Sydney. I live by the ocean. To be able to have a kind of wild ocean in a major big capital city is incredible. In Melbourne I lived by the creeks, which was also fantastic, very calm. You know, creeks and gum trees and birds and things like that. So very different, much calmer there. Here it's wild and lots of action, which is actually a nice change, I have to say.